was thinking. Hi, everyone. Welcome to LinkedIn Live. This is Dr. Laura Hockman. I'm the medical matchmaker, and I have a guest today. Her name is Dr. Tonya Caylor. Dr. Caylor is a physician, and she coaches residents and institutions on their physicians and residents how to enjoy life and really thrive in their chosen lives and career. So, welcome. Thank you for having us today, Dr. Caylor. Or thank me for having you.
Let me thank you for having me. Yeah, I really appreciate it. The name of my practice is Joy and Family Medicine Coaching Services, and I partner with residency programs, primarily family medicine. And it's really rewarding and beneficial to watch physicians who have chosen these careers get back to the point where they can enjoy them again.
That's so wonderful. We're so fortunate to be in this amazing career of medicine. I love it. I don't think there's a lot of jobs out there where you can help someone repeatedly over and over every single day. And so, it's unfortunate that with all the burnout that's going on, we're not able to see this amazing career that we've chosen. So thank you for helping doctors and residents to be able to see that. So I wanted to ask you today to talk to us a little bit about three things, maybe less, maybe more, on some ways that you think that residency life can be a little bit less difficult.
Oh, that's a really good starting point, and I think we could probably cover at least three. And I do want to acknowledge the fact that all of the burnout is really, there are a lot of challenges in medicine right now, and we know at least about 80% of the stressors come from systems that we don't actually have control over. So as a coach, I work with the 20% that you do have control over, and it's amazing just what you can gain within that 20%. So I'm going to just give you the 3 M's of improving your experience as you navigate the challenges, especially as a resident. And I will classify those as maintenance, mindset, and motivation.
Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes. So I think the first thing is maintenance. And what I mean by maintenance, I mean self-maintenance. And this is where it's an invitation to give yourself what you need and not a responsibility or a burden or another thing for your checklist. It's an invitation to give yourself self-care. And while self-care looks very different from person to person, there are a few key foundations, because you're human, that are necessary. One is restorative sleep. Now, again, especially as a resident, especially if you're maxing out those 80 hours a week, that is not always within your control. But the nights that are within your control, deciding, oh, you know what my body needs is less Netflix and more sleep, and like making the conscious decision to honor your body and what it needs. The second thing besides restorative sleep would be, just good nutrition. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy Taco Tuesday at the cafeteria, right? But just making wise choices for yourself, because you know what feels good in your body and you know what doesn't feel good, and not labeling things as good or bad, but just giving yourself the nutrition that you know is good for yourself. And then the third is movement. And while you are in training, you likely do not have, an hour to go to the gym every single day. Although I have had former residents who made getting outside and skiing a priority, and I had no idea how they made it all fit. But knowing that moving your body is good, and figuring out what that looks like, and starting with, some bare minimums of things that you're going to honor yourself with, to invite yourself to participate in. And then have days where you have stretch goals where, okay, maybe I am going to go out for a 3-mile run or a walk or whatever it is for you. So I think self-care is not selfish is the key take home there, because we often only give us our own self-care if we've gotten the list done and then there's some time left over. And that's actually, we need to flip that prioritization.
Does running to Code Blues count as enough movement?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so I work a lot with residents on interview skills, and I help doctors find those jobs and then really coach them through how to advocate for themselves in the interview process and make sure that they're able to figure out if this is the right job for them. throughout the whole process. Can you tell us, do you have any tips for residents, maybe going through an interview? What would you recommend for doctors who are interviewing for a new job?
Well, let me just take a leap off right from that maintenance standpoint. That self care is, you know, give yourself enough time to get a good night's sleep. When your brain wakes you up at 2 a.m. with all of the questions or all the potential catastrophes, just like turn back into gratefulness and say, thank you, brain. Thank you for being aware of all of these things. If you need to write something down, write it down so you know it's there in the morning, and just relax into all the good things going on, so you can get some more sleep. Don't look at the clock, because that no matter what time it is, your brain's going to make it mean something terrible. So it's none of your business what time it is, as long as you know you have your alarm set, right? Um, and then moving on from maintenance, if we take it more to that motivation standpoint, when you're in the interview, I would really recommend, like, when you're like asking questions and talking to them and thinking about negotiating on pieces, like, tune into what's your motivation for those things, because we as physicians often err on the side of people pleasing. And it sounds so nice. We love everybody to feel good, right? But people pleasing is a terrible platform to make a decision about a job from. And so just really tune into the motivation of why you're willing to say yes to this, even though that wasn't what you wanted. Because sometimes we are going to have to make some trade offs, but knowing your motivation will help you tune into whether or not you're going to say yes to certain things.
Yeah, I love that. And another thing on that too, I would say is even before the interview is figure out what those things are that are absolute deal breakers for you, because you don't want to compromise on them. But if you haven't really thought it through beforehand, then
Yeah.
you don't really know at the time of the interview and at the time of the negotiation.
So important. Yeah. Don't think about that at 2 a.m. Have that done well
Yes.
before
Go ahead and do
before
some
arrive.
meditation before sleep. Don't
Yes.
watch Netflix. Uh, and
Um,
so you had another?
yeah, I think, and I think this is one of the most important things. Of course, as a coach, I really focus in on mindset. So not just that motivation piece, but the mindset of when you walk in, um, what are you believing about your own value? What are you believing that they think about what you're bringing to the table? Because let me just tell you, you are valuable as a new graduate or a soon to be new graduate. You bring a ton of value. You bring the latest in training. You bring fresh eyes and fresh energy to a practice, which is, I'm telling you, it cannot be overrated enough. That is really important. And, when you're billing, your billing looks just like everybody else's. And so, especially if there's an area that you love to do, go ahead and highlight that as a value you bring, because then, like, say it's, working with special needs, if you highlight that, even if you're thinking, well, I'm not sure this is going to be reimbursed, that practice likely you're going to be like, oh, good, she likes working with children with special needs. And so they will start to funnel. And so not only are you getting them bought in because they want to be able to take advantage, but your practice is going to be even more rewarding because you're going to be seeing a higher proportion of the things you love to take care of.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just want to highlight that what you just said, because so often I see doctors who try to hide those things because they think that they're not as important or they won't get the job because of that. But you don't want that job if they don't want you to do what you're passionate about. And the other thing, I work on the practice side as well. I work with the practices hiring, and they love new grads. They're so excited to hear the new ideas. A lot of the practices are really excited to mentor a new physician, and they are open. I work with private practices, so there's a lot more flexibility on the practice side. Candidate side, I can work with anyone, but the practices I've worked with so far have been so excited to bring in their skills. So one of the physicians I worked with, she was very passionate about treating a Hispanic population. She's Spanish speaking. The practice was overjoyed to bring her in. They could not wait to support her with a Spanish speaking MA, a Spanish speaking scribe. I mean, they would like move mountains for her. And I have that with so many of my practices. One practice is open to attracting Portuguese speaking patients or hyperbaric oxygen patients. I mean, like, crazy stuff that if you bring that up in the interview, your practice may actually be even better because of it. So
Yeah.
I just want to highlight what you said. That's so huge.
Thank you, Laura. And it's, and the other thing that's so important is when you are thinking you're bringing value and you're assuming that they are also believing you're bringing value, you're going to talk in a way that you're more comfortable, you're more natural, and you're going to interview much better. Whereas opposed if you feel like that you're like begging for a job, this is a little bit different. It's a switch from when you were going into medical school and residency where you're like, oh, please pick me. Did I get my number one choice for residency? This is, no, you are the one that you're sought after. And when you show up that way, the confidence that you bring is going to show, and you're going to be able to be your more authentic self.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Are you taking new physicians or institutions? How do people work with you?
Oh, yeah, thanks for asking. So you can go to joyandfamilymedicine.com, and I'm partnering with a few different programs right now, both faculty development and residents and faculty at certain institutions. But I still have capacity to add more. So if you would like to work with me, you can go there, and there'll be a little link, and we can get on a little chat and see if it's a good fit.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for the important work that you do.
Yeah, thank you, Laura, for what you do. It's so important. My residents are going to be super excited to meet you.
Oh, I can't wait to speak with them. Well, for anyone watching, this is Laura Hockman. I'm the medical matchmaker, family physician, and I help doctors find practices where you can really enjoy practicing medicine again. Tomorrow, I'm giving a webinar on the most common mistakes doctors make when looking for a job and how to avoid them. And we talk about a little bit of the stuff that we spoke about today and some more, contract negotiations and all of that. So I'd love to see you. Head over to my webpage, which is www.happydayhealth.co. It is not .com. And I'd love to see you there, or I'd love to speak with you. Get in touch with me. All right. Bye.